in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, whom I trust.
One of the things that I think is important for all of you to really keep in mind through work that you currently do, the cosmos does not know the difference between fiction and non-fiction. So when you're working on something that has very dark archetypes like a horror movie, these things can come to life. These things can be produced by any kind of interaction with these very archetypes, the very things that you guys are creating here.
Today, we'll be looking at horror movies that have cursed productions.
Happy Halloween!
Good evening, everybody. It is Brother Chris here. I'm live with Gypsy Lady Eva, actually on the other line. And how are you tonight on Devil's Night?
On Devil's Night's a little bit spooky, but then I'm kind of spooky anyway.
It's like so. Yeah. So, any weird things going on in your area?
Oh, sweetheart, there's always weird things going on here. Where do you want to start?
Well, besides the politics stuff.
Oh, that.
Yes.
That's the devil's curse, I swear it. Actually, right now, I don't think there's anything weird going on right now, but then I haven't been out, so I don't really know. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
But there's always strange things.
Yeah. Well, since you're living in the forest area, Sasquatch made an appearance so far.
You know, they finally took all the corn off around us so that you can now see for miles, literally.
Yes.
And I was watching in the woods, and it looked like something was out there, but I couldn't see anything.
Okay.
So I think he's out there, and he's kind of looking like, oh, damn, there goes all my hiding places.
Yeah, it's like so. Well, at least it's not like Children of the Corn.
True that.
So. But
then again, I looked at the corn, and of course, now it went from green to the whatever as it dried out, and I'm going like, okay, I remember in Field of Dreams where he walked into the corn.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, what happens when they cut that corn? Are they trapped there forever?
That's a good question, but yeah. And that sort of brings us up to do with tonight's movie. Since we're talking about Field of Dreams, we're talking about a little bit of movies, but have you heard from our special guest yet?
Not yet. Is he around?
Eva, can you go and get the door effect for a sec?
Come on in.
Yes.
So, yep. So our special guest tonight is Trevor from HauntingLIVE Podcast.
Oh, HauntingLIVE.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's like so.
I am happy to be here with you guys tonight on a special evening.
Tomorrow night's even better.
I can't wait till tomorrow night.
So, yeah, tomorrow night. Only thing, though, I haven't seen lately, I don't know if Trevor's seen it or if you've seen it, but Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Is that coming back?
I don't know. I hope so.
Oh, I love that show.
So, well, don't forget. Go ahead. Go.
I've seen the movie, and I also saw the stage production.
Yeah.
I just love it.
What about you, Trevor?
I like watching it. I have not seen it yet this season, so hopefully it does come on TV soon. Yeah. Everything else has been on TV, so.
Yeah, I just saw Hocus Pocus.
Yeah,
which one? One or two? Your favorite one, or else the new one?
The new, the original one.
Okay.
We just saw 2 this week, and I love 2, so.
It's like
is that any good? And then I saw Beetlejuice the other night.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Part 2 is worth it, though.
I'm hoping to see it soon.
So it's like
TV
yeah,
or whatever.
So for everybody that's actually going to be tuning in to this playback, again, those you can listen to us anywhere at any time. Tonight, though, for Devil's Night, we are going to be talking about cursed movies. I'm going to throw over to Gypsy Lady Eva because she explains a little bit better.
Well, there are movies out there, and these movies supposedly have a curse on them for a lot of reasons. Whether something happened during the movie or to rile the spirits. One of the ones that I think of is the Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeves and Jane Seymour.
Yes.
They all had experiences at the hotel because it was filmed at the Grand Hotel, which is a very haunted place. And supposedly some of that stuff left with them. And look at what happened with Christopher Reeve.
Yeah. It's like
makes you want to wonder.
Yeah.
So what is it? We still don't. I don't think there's ever really been a definitive answer as to what it is or how it is. It just happens.
Yeah.
And the list that you gave me of some movies goes back to the 50s, thereabouts.
Yeah.
But it goes back even further. I did do a little bit of research. One of the movies that supposedly was quite haunted was the original Dracula.
Yes.
Which was built in 1936.
Yeah.
And but why these movies are cursed, you just can't. There's just no one explanation.
Yeah. So Trevor, I know though that you're doing podcasts also here on these Podbean Live. Now, since you are actually my other half, what movies have you heard that are haunted with actually curses?
Well, I'm familiar with what happens during a curse, especially things like in Idris and stuff where they dig up old locations and whatnot. Things can happen. I know of a few movie locations that are haunted or have had curses attached to them. The one I'm thinking of is the Nun movie.
Yeah. So. And that there is to do with the part. That's to do with the Conjuring series.
Yes. But specifically the Nun location itself, where it was filmed, they had activity happen there.
Okay. Can you start explaining of what?
I don't think it was a lot from what I remember. It was just that they had some paranormal activity happening during the filming of the Nun itself at the Abbey where they filmed it. So I think they had some spirits form or something, and one of the cast saw a spirit or something form. So
okay.
I don't think anything happened afterwards, but they had some spiritual activity during the filming. So
yeah. Now I know though that you've also you've interviewed the oldest daughter from The Conjuring.
Yes, on HauntingLIVE Podcast, we were honored to have Andrea Perron on, and she is the oldest living daughter of the original family that owned the original Conjuring house that is featured in the movie that it's based upon. And she talked to us about her story, what her family actually went through. And it's really interesting to hear what they went through compared to what is shown in the movie. So,
okay. All right. Gypsy Lady Eve is just over there admiring.
Well, no, I was just trying to remember what is the movie with the strange house. And I can't think of I can see the house in my mind. What? Psycho. No, not Psycho.
The Conjuring?
No. Oh, God, I can see the house so clear in my mind.
What color is the house?
Red. Give me a few minutes. I'll think about it.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we have a list here in front of us, and these are some of the movies altogether. Now, the first one though is to do with the movie The Exorcist that I'm going to pick out. The Exorcist was actually brought out in '74. A lot of people did faint actually in the movie theater. There's a big lawsuit though that went on. Somebody actually had something happen to them while they were watching it in the theater, and they went ahead, they sued the film crew of whoever did The Exorcist. But The Exorcist, so that we all know, was not really with a female. It was done with a boy that actually had the problem altogether. People in the movie that have worked with the movie have actually had illnesses happen to them. Some of them have actually got burnt, and then shortly after, some of the crew members have had stuff happen to them, which is very unusual. Just out of the blue, and some people have actually been killed without any real purpose. So, sorry, which movie?
Amityville Horror.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That very famous house. Supposedly, that had a lot of things happen at that one. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. It's fine. It's fine because it's part of tonight's show. So yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but I know several things happened to the crew itself while the filming was going on. And supposedly they had done there was nothing in the house to indicate that it was even haunted.
No.
So I find that most interesting.
Yeah. That's like, gosh. That's the one though that if you see the side, it kind of looks like a face looking back at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, gosh. Well, what they did shortly afterwards, right when the movies came out, since the house was originally that color, they painted the house white.
Oh.
But nobody is allowed to be on the property at all, and nobody can be in a certain step space to that house because of what has happened.
And also, I heard from that movie now the new owners of that property have had nothing happen to them. They want nothing to do with the movie. They just live there. So, although reported they haven't had nothing happen to them there since moving in.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Eva, if you go to page number 4, it will be actually on the very bottom of page number 4.
The Conjuring.
No, next one over.
What am I? I'm on page number 3.
So we're not looking at Conjuring. We're looking at the one after that, and it's right at the very, very bottom.
Oh, I didn't get anything after The Conjuring.
Okay, right. Well, it's funny though because I did send that stuff to you, but things happen. I guess it's the energy though that didn't want you to get that.
What's the movie?
So it is Amityville.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like so.
Guess Chris will have to read that one for you.
So, but yeah, so Amityville basically though it was shot. It says originally it was shot actually in 1979 for the Amityville horror movie. So Jay Jackson, it was originally a book that was put into a movie with the cast, and they say though that at the top of the room the doors have been closing. Suddenly, people have supposedly said that they heard footsteps going actually on in the house altogether. So that there is very unusual, especially right now. Right now, people are saying though that place is not haunted at all. So I guess Lorraine and Ed Warren actually probably did some work actually in there and got the energy to move on. So, but Eva, you sort of want to let people know about The Conjuring since that's the last page you have.
Well, first of all, that is one movie I've never really seen, and I don't know that much about it. So I'm just going to have to tell you what's on the list, and it is a part of a franchise, so there's more than one, and it is believed to be, and it is the whole thing is believed to be cursed, and just a second.
It could be the energy that made you sneeze because that happens to me.
And it follows Ed and Lorraine Warren as paranormal investigators, who are played by Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Yeah. Who were called by the Perron family after they were experiencing extremely disturbing or increasingly disturbing events in their new home in Rhode Island. And Vera, the main actress, reported that during the filming she woke up between 3 and 4 in the morning and which is known as the witching hour or the devil's hours, and it is believed to be a time of heightened supernatural activity. And she said she also found claw marks on her computer after researching Warren and having a creative conversation with him. And when the filming was over, she returned home and found 3 more claw marks on her thigh.
Okay, all right. So it's good though that you brought this up. What did the oldest daughter explain to you about her house?
Quite a bit. Which part?
It doesn't matter. You can sort of explain.
Let's just say one main thing was that a movie is a movie is a movie. So a lot of what is in the movie happened but didn't happen. So they have to take a lot of privileges with a movie and put things into it that didn't happen to make it a movie. So she said a lot of things were not necessarily true in that, what happened. But a lot of the story is, and they just had to basically cut and paste into what they could fit into the movie. So it is a shortened version of what happened, but also some embellishments as well for the movie itself. And one other thing was, one big misconception that people always mistake or take for granted about the Warrens is that they were called in to investigate this location. And what she told me was that the family never did call them ever once, that they just showed up on their doorstep unannounced and wanted to investigate the location, whether they heard it from somebody else and just showed up, but they never called them to come in.
Interesting.
And even Andrea's father, who was on the documentary that I did the interview for on the T&E channel, which I'm connected with, her father actually stated, what did he say again? That I had it. Anyways, the father wasn't happy that they showed up and started investigating. He wanted nothing to do with it at all. So
interesting.
Yeah,
So,
and,
yeah.
and that's actually talked about in the documentary that T&E did about The Conjuring, but they were talking about the other spirit that was supposedly there called Bathsheba. And this was a witch spirit that was supposedly attacking them, the family, and everything else. And let's just say Bathsheba was basically a woman that lived up the road from them that had nothing to do with house at all. So
yeah. All right. Well, I do say thanks though, Trevor. Now, one though that Eva used to love, I presume, which was Rosemary Baby.
Which one?
Rosemary Baby.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah. So.
What's interesting about that one is that created quite a. It was very much. What's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of controversy surrounding the movie to begin with. Supposedly the priest that was involved with the Rosemary's Baby committed suicide, or not the priest, but the priest that was based on that the character in the movie was based on committed suicide. There was just a lot of controversy, and Roman Polanski at that time was starting to get involved with some strange things, so that was also, and it was really bizarre. And I remember that, but the movie itself is like, ooh, bleh,
Yeah.
It was very. And the basic story is a young woman who suspects her elderly neighbors to be part of a satanic cult that wishes to harm her baby. And it received raved reviews, but was overshadowed by events similar to another rising cult in the late 60s called the Manson family. Has anybody heard of them? And the Mansons, yes, that was a strange group. And after a couple of months after the movie's release, according to Polanski, the composer was pushed off a rocky escarpment by the writer during a friendly, rough and tough kind of boy play, and he suffered this cambia. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Not even going to try the first name. Suffered head injuries, fell into a coma, and died after being transported back to Poland, where he did die, and that was in April of 1969. And it was considered a part of the Rosemary's Baby's curse, and is that Rosemary's friend Hutch had a similar fate in the story, which is very interesting. Also in 1969, April of that year, producer William Castle was suddenly stricken with a severe kidney stones as a result of stress from amounts of hate mail he received due to the themes that addressed in the movie and more. And while in the hospital, he hallucinated scenes about the movie or from the movie. And last but not least, and the biggie was Sharon Tate, who was Polanski's wife. And she did several auditions for the role of Rosemary. And on August 8th, 1969, Charles Manson, with his followers, went into the house and murdered her, who was also 8.5 months pregnant, along with 3 or 4 other people. And the public blamed Tate's murder on the curse triggered by Rosemary's Baby due to the satanic themes. And that's just some of the things that were based on this heavily, heavily cursed movie.
Well, Ghost Adventures, a series on TV, actually did an investigation of the Tate house. And I think they got some stuff there. They brought in a parapsychologist guy that's famous, and he was picking up a lot of energy in there. I think they had the things move and stuff off the mantle and stuff like that. So
I did not know about that one.
Yep.
So,
well, is it a curse, or is it because people put these things out there and they manifest?
Yeah.
You got to wonder.
Yeah.
But then again, you read some of these things and it's like,
Yeah, that's okay. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this quick commercial break. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the movies. One of the that I want Eva to be able to talk about, she's always talked about this to me. It's actually the Superman movie. But we'll be right back, and we'll continue on.
This December, for your Christmas gifts, why not shop with us here at HauntingLIVE Podcast? We have so much wonderful gifts, such as crystals, cleansing items, and way more. You can find us actually on Etsy underneath HauntingLIVE Podcast.
Okay. All right. So yes, we're back.
Wait a minute. I want to ask you something. What are you doing with Christmas stuff now? It's not even Halloween.
Well, hey, people can shop all year round with us. So, and also with you. So with the Etsy store, just to let you guys know, we are now shipping to the United States with our Etsy store. Eva's got products though that she has listed with us, I presume. And let us know, and we'll sort of let Eva know, and she'll be able to send stuff out to you. So, but yeah, back to the topic though, which is actually to do with cursed movies. You want to sort of let people know about the Superman?
Well, Superman, it's kind of interesting. Of course, everyone knows what happened with Christopher Reeve, because that's what happened in the now sort of a thing, happened now. He was very much into competitive horse back riding. I think they call it dressage. And I could be wrong. Please forgive me. And his horse is riding his horse. His horse refused to take the jump. He somehow got flipped over, but in the process, his hands got caught in the bridle or something along that line. And as a result, he went right down on his head, broke his neck, and was paralyzed for the rest of his life. And excuse me. But that's not the only one. Another very famous Superman, George Reeves, which is even more interesting that the names are almost the same. He starred in the 1950s television series, Superman series. Yeah, right. And he died of a self-inflicted gun wound.
Yeah.
But as I have done some research, there are other Superman portrayers that have also died or been involved in some very serious, very life-changing accidents. Not so much like Christopher Reeve, but enough where I think one, I read one where he was involved. He decided to do his own stunt, and he lost a leg as a result. That's the only one that comes to my mind, but there have been, the whole Superman thing has been a reoccurring. There's always something that seems to happen to these characters who play Superman. I don't think, is it Christopher Pine? Who's the latest one to play Superman?
I'm not too sure offhand.
So far, but the point is, so far nothing has happened to him. Maybe we should just throw a bunch of holy water on him just in case.
Yes. It's like well, another one though that's actually out there is Poltergeist.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, Poltergeist. For those though that haven't seen the movie or just want to recap about it, it's about a girl though that's actually sucked into the closet. Sorry, TV. Thank you very much, Trevor. So yeah, she sucked into the TV. Family Guy has done a couple episodes. Same with also, I think the Simpsons have done it. But yeah, so basically though, it was from the 80s, and that's right when the first one came out. But this is right when everything started happening. So the girl, right when everything, like down the road though, she did pass away from actually the energy from this movie. There's a couple of other people that have actually passed away, and I think though that the skeleton though that they actually had in it, which was actually human skeleton, it was not a prop one; it was a full official one. Though that the family actually came across, it had a lot of negative energy actually to this movie, and yeah, so a lot of deaths actually with inside that one. Gypsy Lady Evie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You were talking about using or having a real skeleton. You just brought to mind there was a prop that was used in Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
Westerns, and for years they thought this was just a prop. Well, when they started, I don't even know how, but they discovered that it was not just a prop. It was actually a human skeleton.
Didn't they end up losing it and lost track of where it was?
I think so. But I just thought that was with the human skeletons. And can I relate sort of a little personal story? A friend of mine that I knew from college somehow came into possession of a human skeleton. And strange things started happening, and he got rid of it. So having a human skeleton, while it might be a really neat thing, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. That's okay. So, well, I'm going to just throw this one over to you. If you sort of want to read about Passion of the Christ, you said though that you didn't know about this one until I sent you it, but I knew it beforehand. But again, though, it's Passion of the Christ, page 2.
I'm getting there. The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Excuse me. follows the last days of Christ. And the whole of the movie, I should say, without spoil, do I say spoiler alert? It's all an illusion of what could have been type thing as part of it. I think that's the one. Anyway, the actor who played Jesus, Jim.
I know it's a weird,
right.
it's weird last name.
He suffered hypothermia, pneumonia, a dislocated shoulder, and was struck by lightning while filming The Passion. I guess you're really not supposed to portray Christ. I don't know. And the film's depiction of his suffering was criticized as being rather excessive and inaccurate, with some claiming this depiction was the real reason behind the curse. Could be.
Yeah.
But the actor believes his time in The Passion is more of a blessing than a curse for whatever reason. I mean, with everything that went wrong. But, that's not the only picture where Christ was portrayed, but, of course, by an actor. But I've heard in different movies, the Christ actor, like, there's one, and I can't remember his name, but that was the only movie he did, and he was supposedly getting into being a lead actor, one of like the Hollywood golden boys. And the movie just cut his career completely.
Yeah.
And in another one, the Christ portrayer, trying to remember, he wound up, he couldn't get any parts after that either.
Yeah.
So throughout cinematic history, those actors that seem to portray the Christ do not have a successful career.
Yeah. Well, they're saying, though, with the lightning, though, it not only struck him, but also it struck one of the film guys. So they were standing right in the same spot.
Interesting.
But the story is the lightning doesn't strike in the same location. For this Passion of the Christ, it did strike in the same location. But with the thorns around the head, they cut into his actual skull.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I believe the word is ouch.
Yes. So there is quite a bit of stuff actually, though, that's happened. I'm gonna throw this over to Trevor. Trevor, you want to be able to pick one of the lists that we haven't done? Here's all the list in front of us. It can be anyone, though, that you pick. So.
Well, since we just saw this one recently on TV for Halloween, it is one of my movies I do like, called Annabelle Comes Home. And does Eva know which that one is? It's a part of the Conjuring series, but after the main Conjuring movie itself. So it was the Annabelle series.
Okay.
So I'll just go through this. Another installment in the Conjuring series, Annabelle Comes Home, was another seemingly cursed production. Released in 2019, Annabelle Comes Home stars franchise newcomer McKenna Grace and series veterans Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. Oh, same person that was in the other one. Adding another chapter to the Warren saga, this time following a possessed doll that starts tormenting the couple's daughter and babysitter. So that would be Ed and Lorraine Warren's daughter.
Yeah.
And I believe in real life she did have trouble.
Yeah, she did.
So that is accurate, I think. In conversations with The Wrap, Grace talked about her experiences shooting the film, which included doors opening and closing, a shadowy figure that she spotted on location. When all of us were on set together for the first time, the lights went out, and we were all freaking out and asking, Annabelle, are you there? Grace said. Then the lights turned back on, and my nose was bleeding so heavily. It happens sometimes because of allergies, but not this heavy, she says. As soon as I left set to go home, it stopped. Production notes also state that a piano bench moved around without explanation, and that while visiting the set, a journalist's watch went haywire, skipping hours ahead.
So yeah.
A lot of interesting stuff. So
Yeah.
Annabelle is one of my favorite series. Not so much the last movie, but definitely the first two in the Annabelle series. It just has a lot of truth to what happens in the paranormal field with regards to conjuring things and attachments and stuff like that. So
yeah, so there is a lot of movies out there that do talk the truth about actually the actual hauntings, what we actually paranormal investigators do face. But yeah, but there's a large list altogether. What I'll sort of let you know, unless if Gypsy Lady Eva wants to let you know about the list that we've actually come with, and I'll sort of before we close, I'll let you know about a Hollywood movie that's out there. I forget the name of it, but it's really creepy. So if Gypsy Lady Eva, you want to sort of mention what the titles of the movies are that we have
that we didn't talk about?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go from the top to the bottom. The Conqueror was with released in '56 with John Wayne as Genghis Khan. Go figure that one.
Yes.
Did we talk about The Exorcist?
Yes, we did. Yep.
And Twilight Zone, the movie. We talked about that.
No, we didn't.
Waterworld.
We didn't talk about the Twilight. We personally talked about it, you and I, but not on air. It's all right.
Waterworld.
Yeah.
Rebel Without a Cause. That one I found interesting. And that's about it.
Okay.
On the list that I don't have the fourth page, so I don't know what else is
Yeah.
on there.
So on the fourth page, though, what I have though here, I have the Innkeeper. Trevor did say about Annabelle, and the last one though is Amityville. So yes. So there is one movie that's out there. It is a low budget movie because it's a home video, and this is one here we're going back to the 50 time period. And with this one here, it was actually all video. There's no audio really. And what had happened though is, since it's a home video with different locations throughout Hollywood with all the celebrities at that time, you watch the videos, the body movements are moving around. There's shadows that are showing there. And there's a scene though that people are at a long table, but somebody's on at the far end of the table and nobody's there.
You know, there's one that you didn't mention that I don't know if it's a curse or not, but you know, in the original Wizard of Oz,
yes,
there is supposed to be a hanged man in the background.
That's supposed to be the witch. Yes.
Which there's difference as to what this really actually is.
Yeah.
But supposedly there were things that was happening on that weren't exactly normal.
Yeah. So what the conclusion I would say though on my end though is watch your movies and pay attention really closely to what's going on in the background. Don't worry about the actors or the actresses. Pay attention to what's going on in the background. You never know what you can come across.
Exactly.
So from us to you guys, I do say thanks a lot for tuning in tonight's episode. Join us on Wednesday, as we're going to be discussing actually normal topics. We may talk about our own spiritual life before the American Thanksgiving that comes up.
We're not doing something Saturday?
Well, yeah, sorry, yeah, Saturday, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
So, yes. Well, for me though,
before we leave to please vote on November 5th.
Yes.
November 5th?
Yeah. November 5th is the way to do it.
Yes, please vote.
There is a lot that's going actually on right now within the states. And let me pop this up for a second.
Investigations are underway in Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon after an incendiary device was set off inside 2 ballot boxes. In Washington, heavy smoke was seen coming from inside a drop-off ballot box this morning. Hundreds of ballots appear to have been destroyed. There was a similar incident just a few hours earlier in Portland. This comes as the presidential candidates hit swing states today.
And for everybody though that's actually in Victoria, Washington area, if you're not sure about your ballots, especially with those fires that have happened, call your Congress location, find out and see if they have received your ballots. If not, get back out there and vote. Because yes, we can is the way to do it. Again, though, thanks a lot from Gypsy Lady Eva, Trevor from Haunting Live Podcast.
Thank you for having me this week.
So, yeah. All right.
Always welcome.
Yeah. So again, though, thanks a lot to everybody and happy Halloween. Make sure that you guys play it safe tomorrow. Talk to you guys later.
Have a great week.